Welcome back, everyone. Attorney Craig Steger here for the daily live stream. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late again, but better late than never, as I like to say. So, anyway, today's live stream is about what I think are the 10 dangers or 10 particular hazards of delivery trucks and delivery truck drivers that people should be careful about and be thinking about if you or someone you love is injured by one of them. Before I begin, let me remind you that this live stream is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. Viewing or participating in this live stream does not create an attorney client relationship. You should always talk to an attorney if you have specific questions about a case involving you or someone you know. I can only help people in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa, where I practice. If you have a particular legal question about a case, please don't leave it in the comment section or in the live chat. I would ask that you go into the description below, and there's a way you can reach out to me, either get on my calendar or send me an email, something confidential. If you just have more general questions about any of these things, feel free to leave them in the chat and I'll respond to them if I can, or leave it in a comment if you watch this afterwards. And if I can answer it, I will. Or maybe I'll do another video on it to try and answer those kinds of questions. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. So, I have done videos in the past that talk about what I think are special dangers that I've identified in my practice of, let's say, dump trucks, cement trucks, milk trucks, but particular dump trucks, just because I've had a number of cases involving dump truck crashes, and they involve a lot of the same uh, federal issues, the DOT rules for commercial motor vehicles and CDLs, and there's lots of stuff out there that talks about the dangers of over the road truckers, big rigs, their big vehicles, blind spots, take a lot to to break, and hours of service, fatigue, all those kinds of things are for the most part well-known dangers of semis and over the road trucks. Okay, but I've identified what I think are special hazards of more local trucking, like dump trucks, delivering gravel to a farm driveway, milk trucks, um, things like that. Um, but a lot of those, and even more, actually apply to delivery trucks. So it's that time of year. Christmas is next week. Um, all the Amazon trucks, FedEx trucks, UPS trucks, speedy delivery, all of them. They're all out there in full force as we become more and more accustomed to doing our shopping from the comfort of our phone or computers, right? And because of that, I wanted to talk about, and I kind of made a list. I thought about it and I thought of the 10 reasons. This is not all of them, but 10 reasons why I think you have to pay special attention around delivery trucks, delivery truck drivers, and to be mindful, especially if you are a delivery truck driver or if someone gets involved in a crash or is injured with one. Here's some things to think about and why people should go to a lawyer right away as soon as possible after something happens. So here's my list in no particular order, but number one, um, unlike over the road truckers, and I'm thinking, not even across country, but a lot of trucks maybe drive, they have common destinations. So they may run a regular route, maybe they go to a particular Walmart store or they go to a particular factory or whatever the case may be. And or, as over the road trucking, maybe they're hauling freight across the country. Unlike over the road truckers or those kind of long haul truckers, local delivery drivers, you're dealing with new roads, neighborhoods, driveways that you probably have never been to before, they've never been to before. Um, and this might be the only time they ever stop at a particular place, right? And they're pulling into residences as opposed to warehouses and truck stops and things like that. So that's one thing. A lot of times, the delivery, especially if it's seasonal, the delivery truck driver may have never been on this street, in your driveway, in your neighborhood, whatever the case may be. And that's one of the reasons why um, they can present a special hazard to themselves and to others. I'm going to make a note so I make sure I keep track of where I'm at here. So that's number one. Okay, they're delivering oftentimes to new neighborhoods, new driveways, things like that. Number two is, and similar to it, unlike over the road truckers that might be on larger roads with approaches, maybe they're 4-lane highways where there's ramps and all that kind of stuff. Local delivery drivers are driving on small streets where the visibility isn't as good. They're not really designed for that. Trees, foliage, cars parked on the sides of the street, create visibility issues. Lighting may not be as good. Signage, there isn't the same signs that you would expect out on the open road. So there's all kinds of things about the nature of the streets and how they're designed that just makes them. They're designed for local traffic. They're designed for cars and trucks and minivans and things like that. They're not really made. They're certainly not made for semis, and they're not really made for delivery trucks for the most part. So that's number two. That's one of the reasons why traffic involving delivery trucks presents a special hazard to the community. Number three is oftentimes, unlike an over the road trucker, let's say someone's delivering freight to Walmart or something like that, those stores, they all have, they're all designed for semi traffic, right? The business itself, unless it's very old, is designed for semi traffic and may have had to get approval from the local city, the state, whatever the case may be. And they have loading docks and things like that around the back of the store or the side of the store, and they have plenty of room for trucks to get in and out and to be able to back in and leave safely away from the general public. That's not really the case in residential places, driveways where they may not even be able to get off the street, may not be able to get in your driveway, and they're competing with other cars on the street, things like that. And there can be a lot of blind spots in and out of these driveways, trees, bushes, ornamentals, other cars, you name it, snowbanks, things like that. There can be a lot of blind spots where they're delivering to that makes it more difficult for drivers to get into these driveways and maybe more importantly to get back out of their driveway. So that's number three. Number four, um, you know, unlike over the road truckers who spend a lot of their time out on, let's say, 55 to 65 or more uh, mile per hour traffic highways with plenty of shoulders and interchanges and all that kind of stuff, local delivery drivers are sharing the road with, uh, you know, children, bicycles, school buses, pets, just other local traffic that may not even be thinking about the delivery trucks as they take their normal course to and from work, to and from school. So that's the other traffic, the other hazards out there, small children, whatever, that are on the road that present a special hazard to delivery truck drivers when they're delivering to your house. That's number four. Number five, and I'll be honest, I've never driven for Amazon or whatever. I've never delivered, but I've used my GPS to get to new places, and I'm certain that when they make a delivery, and they make lots of deliveries, but when they make a delivery, they've got something on their phone or they got some device in the truck that tells them where the next stop is and the route to take. And right now it is. So right now it's quarter to 5 p.m. here in Wisconsin, and it's pitch dark outside, right? Those guys and those ladies are still out making those deliveries, and they will make them well into the night as they get closer and closer to Christmas. And they have maybe never been to this neighborhood before, never been to this house, and so they are relying on their GPS to get them to where they need to be. Is it this house? Is it a duplex? Which driveway is theirs? Is it an apartment? All those kinds of things can make it very distracting for them because they're trying to make sure they know where to stop, and they're probably looking for a place to park. Can I pull into the driveway? Is there room on the street? Are there other cars blocking? Things like that. So there's lots of reasons why delivery truck drivers are probably more distracted than over the road drivers or even the rest of us that are sharing the roads, because we don't need that. We don't need GPS to let us know how to get to and from our house or to and from work and school. So that's number five, is just the distractions that those drivers deal with. Number six, um, kind of similar to number two, but one of the things that I think in particular makes the 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 routes taken by delivery trucks more difficult is, you know, a lot of the intersections they're going through, or streets they're getting from one street to another, are tend to be narrow, subject to the same obstructions. Cars parked on the streets, things like that, are not well lit, are not very wide, and may not have stoplights and things like that. It may be an uncontrolled intersection. Maybe there's a stop sign. One side has a stop sign, the other doesn't, and but you try to creep out and you're trying to see for cars coming, looking for children, things like that. So the intersections in particular on the roads for local traffic that delivery drivers are dealing with just tend to be much more difficult to navigate for them, and just present a hazard for the drivers and the people that are on the road with them. So that's number six. Number seven is, and this is sort of in comparison to over the road truck drivers, and this is something that I have observed with, let's say, dump trucks and things like that, is unlike an over the road truck driver who may be making only one or a few stops over the course of the day. Delivery drivers are making lots of stops. They're in and out of your driveway. How many deliveries does the average Amazon driver make every day? I don't know. I'm sure it's a lot. And so they are in a hurry, and they're constantly making they're making lots and lots of stops to new places to them that are unfamiliar with them, and if it's this time of day or dark and they really can't see well. And so they are just constantly in and out of traffic, in and out of new driveways, constantly being exposed to these hazards far more frequently and regularly than, let's say, over the road truck drivers. So that's number seven. Number eight, and this is a generalization. This may not be true in all instances, but as a general matter, over the road truck drivers probably receive more training and have more experience driving than local deliveries, especially if people are using their own vehicles and things like that. I doubt that most, let's see, um, delivery drivers have to have a CDL if they're just driving a van, or a bigger van or a small truck. If it doesn't have air brakes and all that stuff, they may not need to have a CDL license. And so they didn't go through that testing. They didn't have to take a truck driving course or go to school for any of that. And they may not receive the kind of training and ongoing education that over the road truck drivers may receive. So I think that's what's one other consideration as well, especially in this around the holidays. It's seasonal. There may be people that are doing this on a temporary basis. This isn't what they do most of the time. Companies are trying to deal with all the packages, and they may give someone a job for a month or something like that. And so those people just wouldn't be expected to have the same level of experience and training as, let's say, a seasoned over the road trucker. And so that can present an extra hazard. So that's number eight. Number nine. Um, It's this time of year, around the holidays, especially if you're in the Midwest, we have snow and ice and it's dark early. And as a general matter, side streets and local streets are, let's say, one of the last things to get plowed. The freeways and the main thoroughfares and things like that tend to get the most aggressive and regular attention in terms of snow plowing, salting, sanding, things like that. And so you just may have poor street conditions for these local delivery drivers. And again, you have the same obstructions. You have cars on the street, so the snow is kind of banked up around them, or snowbanks start to form later in the year as people in the streets are, street workers are looking for places to put the snow, creates obstructions and things like that. So just the fact that if you're, especially if you're in the Midwest, if you're in a place that has winter, the driving conditions are probably going to be more difficult for local drivers as opposed to over the road drivers. So that's number 9. And number 10 is, and again, this may not be more important or less important than the other ones, but I think especially this time of year, delivery drivers are to residential destinations are probably in a hurry. They have a lot of packages they have to deliver. They're trying to get them all done. They want to get home to their families, and as a general proposition, probably feel more rushed and under a time crunch than an over the road trucker. And once they deliver a package and do whatever confirmation they need that it got delivered, they're already thinking about the next one. They probably have pulled up their next delivery in their phone before they even leave the driveway, so they know if they're going left or right. And so all that is happening and distracting the driver, most drivers, as they're trying to do their job. So that was number 10. There may be other ones that I'm not thinking of, but that you can see the logic behind why um, you know this kind of traffic, larger vehicles than, let's say, passenger vehicles and family vehicles and things like that, but larger vehicles operating in and out of residential driveways and parking lots and streets just present a special hazard to both the drivers and those that share the road with them. That it's really, really important to keep that in mind. Be very defensive in how you drive. Watch out for others. Give them space. Watch out for your kids. Things like that. But if things do happen, it's really important to try and do something as soon as possible so that photographs can be taken, video surveillance can be sought, witness statements and things like that. That's why it's really important if you or someone is involved in a is injured by one of these delivery vehicles, it's really important you act as quickly as possible so that evidence can be preserved in the event that some sort of legal action needs to be taken in the future. Whew, that was fast. Um, so those are the 10. Those are my 10 things that I thought of, 10 things that are especially dangerous about delivery truck drivers and vehicles like that. Some of those will apply to things like dump trucks or whatever. If there are others that I've forgotten, feel free to leave those in the comments. And be safe out there. Christmas is coming up. Watch out for yourselves. Take some time. Give the delivery drivers extra space and patience. They're trying to do their job. They're probably in a new environment for them, and they're just trying to find out where they got to go. So be very attentive to them. Watch out for them, and let's get everyone safe through the holidays. So if you have any questions about any of that, leave them in the comments. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can um, you can get on my calendar. That's talktocraig.com. You can also call or text me anytime. Um, Numbers on the screen. You can call or text that number at any time, and someone will get back to you as soon as possible to see if we can help you. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I appreciate anyone who was in and out for the live stream, and I appreciate anyone who watches this later on. And until next time, everyone, have a good